Hey, anybody who's interested in this open source paintball gun project, thought I'd shoot out a quick status video on what I've done so far. So we basically have been able to replicate on a small scale the board that I'm going to be using. So we've got an Arduino over here, the 3 buttons that are basically the same ones that are on the race gun, and a trigger button. Okay. Piezo buzzer for sound effects. Okay, and that's what we've got so far. Currently what I've got set up is I'm running on a 3-round burst, and one of the biggest complaints about race gun was the difficulty of programming it on the field. You either had to have a Palm Pilot or a laptop. And so one of the changes that we wanted to make in this revision, if it ever gets out there, is that you could program it via the button pad. Now, myself and New Race Owner and a couple other guys talked about it. We originally wanted the trigger to control the programming, because the trigger switches can sustain and take a lot more, a lot higher button press count. And the button pad on the back here, while it's great, it is generally a little bit more fragile. I tried to get the programming down to do a trigger-based system, and it was just too much of a pain in the butt. So I went ahead and set up the programming system to basically use the 3 buttons on the back of the gun. That can change down the road. That's the great thing about this project, is that this is all open source. So if I ever want to change the programming, it's just a USB connector, plug it into a computer, and anybody can load a firmware on it that they want. So let's just go ahead and kind of show you what I'm talking about, what I've got so far. Top and bottom buttons, turn it into game mode, and we've got a red LED to indicate we're in game mode, and let's go ahead and shoot. There we go. 3-round burst, really quick. But a lot of people say, well, Joe, that's too fast. I need to slow it down, want to conserve some paint. So let's adjust our timing real quick. So take us out of game mode, and we're going to hold down the bottom button, which will adjust that solenoid, and you're going to hear a couple beeps. That'll tell us we're in programming mode. Okay, there we go. Now, we've got 2 options, the up button or the down button. The up button will increase the amount of time the solenoid stays open. Okay, so we're going to make it stay open longer. Okay, so that was 15 beeps. That should be significantly longer than what we had before. Top and bottom buttons send it out of programming mode. A couple beeps tell us we're out and we're in game mode. Now, we're significantly slower. Okay. Now the interesting thing about that, these settings, they do preserve without power. So we've lost power. Come over here. Hook it back up just like a professional paintball gun. Send it back into game mode. And we're still at the slower speed. Okay, so these settings do persist even without power. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to be playing with, I've got 3 or 4 modes already programmed: sniper, semi, 3-round burst, and full auto. Those are actually really easy to program. There's nothing special to them. The more difficult ones are going to be some of the NPPL and PSP modes and stuff like that, and I've yet to play with them. But I've got some parts coming in from New Race Owner. Thank you very much, New Race, for those, so that I could actually get a permanent mounted setup. And I've got the nano version of the Arduino coming in. It's not quite so big, and I should be able to go ahead and get a mock-up that'll fit inside of the grip frame.